Click the first link in the description for the best Askreddit content. Today I fucked up by telling my girlfriend's dad that our relationship was in decline and I would be asking his permission to have an affair. This happened last month during a staycation in the UK with my 25M girlfriend's 25F family. My GF, her mum and her sister decided to go shopping for the day. Her dad, sister's boyfriend and I headed for the pub. We were about 3 pints in when the FU began. GF's dad, op, how long have you and my daughter been together now? Me, almost 6 years. GF's dad, wow, that long already. Number 7 year itch yet? Here is where it started to unravel. I couldn't recall the exact meaning of the phrase 7 year itch, but I thought it was meant to be a tongue-in-cheek question, basically asking if my GF was getting impatient about when I was to propose and when we would get married. Except, it doesn't mean that at all. Me, yes, in fact, I have been thinking about it more and more recently and I expect it to be on the cards soon. Of course, when the time comes, I will ask for your blessing. IGF's dad choked a bit on his beer and stared at me blankly, visibly uncomfortable. I smiled and took another sip of my beer. We finished up, and headed home. After dinner that night, I asked my GF if her dad was okay as he seemed off with me. I briefed her on the conversation in the pub. She stopped me halfway through, with a huge grin on her face, struggling to contain her laughter. She went on to explain that the phrase 7 year itch is in fact a saying or popular belief that after 7 years, a relationship or marriage declines and often results in one of both parties having an affair. So in essence, I told my girlfriend's father that I had been thinking about the decline of our relationship and when the time came, I would be asking his blessing to sleep with other women. Thankfully, my future in-laws are good people. Once I explained my FU and apologized, they laughed it off and we forgot about it. Smile. Too long didn't read. I misunderstood a common phrase and effectively told my girlfriend's father that our relationship was in peril and I would be asking his blessing to have an affair. Edit. Wow, this blew up. Thank you kind strangers for the awards and all the wholesome comments. Just to clear a couple things up. 1. There are a few people calling me out and calling me an asshole for wanting to ask permission to marry my girlfriend. First of all, I would like to say this is a common and traditional practice in the UK, one which I don't particularly agree with. That said, my girlfriend's family are very traditional people and would likely be offended if I didn't ask. I am going to respect their traditions, even if I don't agree with them. My girlfriend is fully aware of this and agrees it is the right thing to do. 2. Many people have questioned why the hell my girlfriend's dad would ask that and they are trying to somehow psychoanalyze the situation. I have known my girlfriend's dad for many years. We are good friends and often go to the pub, watch football, etc. He didn't ask the question seriously and was joking. I think it was meant rhetorically and my response took him by surprise, probably the stupidity of it, and was trying to make sense of it before the girls turned up shortly and we had to leave. 3. I have changed permission to blessing as it has been pointed out that the former implies it's ultimately the decision of her parents, which it isn't. Thanks to those who pointed this out. Smile. Sister's boyfriend, damn, these guys have a relationship on a whole other level. Chugs beer. Next time, 7 year itch. No, the cream the doctor prescribed cleared that up. Haha, you had such a wholesome I love her and I'm thinking of marriage intentions and you totally fumbled what would have been a great moment. I'm sorry, glad they understood the misunderstanding. Edited to fix autocorrect. At least they now know I'm serious about their daughter, D. This is adorable and wholesome but definitely a screw up because they will be telling this story for the rest of your life. Never going to live it down lol. Finally, an actual fuck up. What, you don't enjoy the top 10 posts always being one of these? Today I fucked up by doing the same totally normal thing I do every single day but some outside mitigating factor, over which I had absolutely no control over, causes things to not go the same way they always do. Today I fucked up by, really juvenile sex pun no one has ever used before, with my girlfriend. Today I fucked up by throwing up all over a client during sex and ending up in the hospital. This is a throwaway account, and this happened about 2 years ago. I was fresh out of high school, 18F, and in desperate need of some funds. I already had a job that I didn't make enough money doing, and I needed cash fast. Naturally I became a prostitute. I'm not one anymore, but I used to average about 5 clients a week, and it was really good money. Actually ended up enjoying the job immensely. One night I had a brand new client, 35M, contact me and ask to meet up. I texted him my address and got ready. When he came over, I asked him what he wanted and how he liked it, all the usual questions. I started to undress him and make him comfortable, and soon enough I was on top, riding him. We started to a bit rougher when all of a sudden there was a sharp extreme pain in my pelvis. I could barely breathe from the intensity of the pain. He asked if I was alright, and like straight out of a movie with the timing, I looked straight at him and just threw up all over him. He pushed me off and was naturally very alarmed as I kept throwing up. The sheets, both of our clothes, and his very expensive leather jacket, and the area was just covered. He immediately asked if he should call an ambulance, and all I could do was nod as I moaned in pain and kept throwing up. Eventually I went to the hospital that night to find out that I had an ovarian cyst that ruptured. I was in the hospital for a week after surgery, being watched and on medication before I was able to go home. He ended up texting me later on asking if I was alright. I apologized for everything, and told him that of course I would pay for the damage to his jacket and he didn't have to send me anything. He was such a sweetheart, he still paid me, and he actually asked me out on a date which I said yes to. We don't talk anymore, but I'm very grateful for him. Too long didn't read. I was a prostitute and threw up all over my client in the middle of sex. Ended up in the hospital with a ruptured cyst. Excellent throwaway account name. I always have to pay extra for that. I already had a job that I didn't make enough money doing, and I needed cash fast. Naturally I became a prostitute. This is gonna be me after COVID takes my job. COVID took my job and UI runs out next week. Anyone want a fat middle-aged white dude? Got a real small wiener too. I am absolutely in awe. I can't believe that account name wasn't already taken. Naturally I became a prostitute. Neat. Today I fucked up by inviting a stranger to come meet my breasts. This morning I was out for a walk with my 2 dogs. Now it's important for context that you understand how pretty my dogs are. They are both rescue husky mixes that look fairly unusual and have really today I fucked up blue eyes. It's not out of the ordinary for people to stop me and ask about them, compliment them, and want to pet them. Having these ridiculously gorgeous dogs has somewhat desensitized me to people yelling out of car windows and across streets, because maybe 3 times a week someone will yell a dog compliment at us. So we were walking along the sidewalk when a man working on some new construction across the street yelled, "Oh my god, I love your doggers." I gave him a big smile and yelled back, "Thanks. Wanna say hi?" He looked slightly surprised but smiled and started walking over. When he crossed the street he was suddenly acting a bit awkward and not really paying much attention to the dogs. I had them sit so maybe he'd feel comfortable petting them, but honestly I was getting a weird vibe now and wanted to get on my way. We then had the following interaction. Him, "So do you want to give me your snap?" Me, no thanks. "You can say hi to them here, and I'm going to get going." Him, "Here? You just wanna?" Mimes pulling down a shirt. Here's where I realize all at once that I'd fucked up. I had been desensitized by years of dog compliments and am now putting the pieces together that this man had very likely catcalled me, and I was basically a catcaller's dream, friendly and receptive to his advancement by smiling and inviting him over to say hi. My mind locked on to what he had originally yelled. "Oh my god, I love your doggers. I love your doggers. Doggers." Finally, my dumbass brain puts the pieces together and I squeak out a horrified, "Did you say you love my knockos?" He nods yes, and I wish I could say I had some clever retort, but honestly I just gave him a firm point of my index finger and an exasperated, "No," before the pups, and I hightailed it out of there. TL doctor, I thought a random man was complimenting my dogs. Invited him to come say hi. Turns out, he was catcalling me. Dog tax. Catcalling someone to begin with is stupid. Catcalling someone with two large dogs is stupidly stupid. They are so dorky and nice in person though. They aren't cut out for scaring creepers away. Too many tail wags. OMG, so, this / is what happens when you actually respond nicely to catcallers. I have always wondered what the next step in their plan is. It kind of sounds like he didn't know what the next step was either. Probably never thought it would go any further. On the topic of mixed signals when walking dogs, one time, I was walking my stunningly handsome German Shepherd, and we started approaching a nice-looking young lady my age. She looked at me and got a big smile, which naturally confused the fuck out of me. When we got closer she exclaimed "so handsome," which only confused me more. Sensing my confusion, she raised a hand and helpfully clarified, "Oh, I didn't mean you." And that's how I almost got a compliment once. My dog is also used to be complimented from afar and has associated this with pets, so he always drags me over to those people. One time I got catcalled and he dragged me over to the catcaller. Luckily that dude lost all interest in me once he saw my dog and I had to awkwardly stand there while they played. Dog tax? You're right, edited to add dog tax on the post.